This is Gemara in Shavuos, Daf Tes, and we're holding on Chesem and Beis, about 8 lines from the bottom at the 2 dots. And B'siyat D'Shmai, today's shir should be an incredible schos, Refuah Shalema, for Tinok ben Miriam Ahuva, B'seich Sha'ar Chayle Yisrael. Says the Gemara on the bottom of Chesem and Beis, quoting the end of the Mishnah, Ein ba yediyah b'tzchila, v'yesh ba yediyah b'saif. Then sa'ir anasa b'chotz v'yom kippurim b'chaper. You don't know about the avira you did at the beginning, but you know about the avira at the end. Then the sa'ir nasir b'chotz is mechaper, and Yom Kippur, is mechaper. Says the Gemara, let's understand this. Mechti, let us see. Iskushi iskish lahadadi. The two goats, the two seirim, should be compared one to another, and therefore, v'nechaber penimi adidei v'adachitoin. Let the penimi, the inner one, the seir anasa bifnim, should come along and be mechaber as well for this, that which the seir anasa bachutzis. And again, these are the two parts of the Mishnah. Those who don't know about the Adiyah versus those who don't know about the Adiyah Bachutz, and therefore, v'nafkamina lehechad la'avad chitzoin. And therefore, what's the nafkamina? Is going to be, let's say, the Seir Hanasa Bachutz for some reason was not brought. Why would that be? Rashi comes along. Where's the Rashi? Rashi a little higher says, for example, let's say they didn't have enough Seirim, and the Avodah on Yom Kippur was compromised, and they did not bring the Seir Bachutz. So what would happen then? Says the Gemara, let us say that should be the Nafkamina, because we should be able to learn out one from the other. Amar Kra Achas. Says the Gemara, the pasuk says Achas, which teaches us kapara Achas mechaper ve'enoi mechaper shtei kaparis. Asks the Gemara, v'nechaper chitzon adidei. Now we ask the other way. V'may dave pinimi. Let the chitzon be mechaper. V'nafkamina l'tama, the area bein zelazeh. Nafkamina would be if there's tama that happened between the two karbanos, so it would not be mechaber because the penimi was already brought again. And but the chitzon should work for it. Amar kra achas bashana kapara zu, says the Gemara loy tehei, as we turn over to Daf Tes, ella achas bashana. This kapara only is going to be once, and therefore, even though we can learn one from the other, it would not affect kabara for the other carbon. Ask the Gemara, Rabbi Yishmael Damar, Ein b'yidiyah b'tzchila, v'yesh b'yidiyah b'saif. According to Shitas Rabbi Yishmael, who says, when there's an aver involving toma, that he does not know about it b'tzchila, but then he knows about it b'saif. What's the halacha? V'yidiyah b'saif, bar carbon, who he brings the carbon, sir anasa b'chutz, amay mechaper. So ask the Gemara, is such a scenario that we allow him, according to Shitas Rabbi Yishmael, to bring the carbon? He is chayiv a carbon oila v'yayri, depending on his wealth. So says the Gemara, so what does the sir anasa b'chutz give a kapara for? Answers the Gemara, al she'ein b'yediyah loy b'tchila v'loy b'saif. You don't know about it either way. Ask the Gemara, but wait, from the end of the Mishnah, what did the end of the Mishnah teach us? That when you have a lack of yediyah b'tchila, lack of yediyah b'saif, we learned that what? So why are you telling me, according to Rabbi Yishmael, the seir anasa b'chutz will affect the kapara? Answers the Gemara, the Rabbi Yishmael, Savla Kiramei, or Damar Kolas Irim Kaparasan Shaveh. All the Seirim have one effect of kapara, v'toimin al Tumas Mikdash v'kodashav. So if that is true, I ask the Gemara and concludes part A of our share for today. If this is true that they all have one kabara, so what is the hekesh of chitza lepenimi? Explains the Gemara, ma penimi ein mechaber b'shar aveiros av chitza ein mechaber b'shar aveiros. Just like the penimi will not work for shar aveiros, but only for Tumas Mikdash v'Kadashav, so too the Chitzon will be the same, and that is what the Hekesh teaches us in a Chanami. It will not teach us that regarding Ein B'Yidira B'Tchilu B'Soif, because that's already taken care of by the Seir of Regalim and Rosh Chodesh, but it'll teach us that the Hekesh does teach us for Shar Aveiros only of Tumas Mikdash v'Kadashav. And now we quote the last part of the Mishnah. We're about 5 lines in the white line, which we just quoted a moment ago. If you don't have Yediyah, neither B'tzchila nor B'asayif, what's the halacha? Seirei regalim usir rosh chadashim mechabrim divrei Rabbi Yehuda. Amar Rabbi Yehuda, Amar Shmuel. My time with Rabbi Yehuda. What is the reason of Rabbi Yehuda? He quotes a pasuk Amar Kra. Usir izim echad lechatos Hashem. From here we learn out chet she'in makir boy el Hashem. A chet that only is a chatos laHashem. What's a chatos laHashem? When you don't know about it, only God knows about it. Then darshins the Gemara. Yesir zeh machaper. This year will be machaper. Ask the Gemara. Ask the Gemara. But the extra pasuk of Lachatos Hashem is needed for Reish Lakish. That what? Diyamar Reish Lakish Manishan Asir Rosh Chodesh. Why is the Sir of Rosh Chodesh different? Shenemar by Hashem explains Reish Lakish. Amar Hakadosh Baruch Hu on the second white line. Seir Zeh Yekapara for what? Al Shemiati Al Shemiati Es Yareach. Says HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it's a chatos Hashem, because I, Hashem, need this seir for what? For the kapara, whatever this means, kaviyachol. That I diminish the size of the moon, and that's what seir Hashem teaches us. So it asks the Gemara, but clearly it doesn't teach us for what Rabbi Yehuda just taught us a moment ago, which is something you don't have idea but B'Tchilu B'Asayif. Answers the Gemara, if that was true in Kilim Makra al Hashem, why does the Abbas say la Hashem lichdamarin? Ask the Gemara, wait, maybe it's all teaching us one din like Rav Yehuda, and therefore Reish Lakish will have no way of learning the kapara for making the moon smaller. Im Kilim Makra chatos Hashem, my la Hashem shmas mina tarti. And that's where we're going to learn out the din of the Mishnah when there's no Yediyah B'Tchilu or B'Asayif. The Seir Regalim, Seir Rosh Chodesh is Machaber according to Rabbi Yehuda. Ask the Gemara a new kasha. V'nachaber nami afilu b'shar aveiros. Ask the Gemara as we move on to the 5th line. Why isn't the Seir of Rosh Chodesh Machaber for other aveiros? How do we know that it's only mechaber when you commit a crime, a lack of yediyah, an unwitting avera, klabe, only Tumas Mikdash v'Kadashav, only with regard to impurity with relation to the Beis HaMikdash. Maybe all averos. Answers the Gemara, Tan v'Rishmal Hol v'Zeba b'Zman Kavua. V'Zeba b'Zman Kavua. Since the Karban Musaf, the Seir of Yom Kippur comes at a fixed time, and the Seir of Rosh Chodesh comes at a fixed time. You know what it teaches us? Ma'azeh, just like the Seir of Yom Kippur in Mechaber l'Tumas Mikdash v'Kadashav. Avzeh, so to the Seir of Rosh Chodesh in Mechaber l'Tumas Mikdash v'Kadashav. Continues the Gemara and asks, Ashchan Seir Rosh Chodashim, but Seir Regalim and Alan, what about the Seir of Regal? And if you're going to tell me, and if you're going to tell me like Tanivei Yishmael, I'll tell you no. Because I can ask, even the Rosh Chodesh came to Adir, even the Yom Kippurim, came to Ruba Kaparasa. Maybe you're going to respond to those two kashas of the Kapara Meruba and the time that it is, as we turn over to Tasim Beis, and if you're going to tell me Hagamrina on Rosh Chodesh Midiyam Kippurim v'loy Parachinan, learn out Rosh Chodesh. We have learned out Rosh Chodesh Yom Kippur, and we didn't ask the kasha that wait Yom Kippur is Kapara Meruba. So we see clearly that's not a kasha to be asked. Says Gemara, no. Hasam Kapara Michtav Ksivi. Over there by Rosh Chodesh this year it says Kapara. Kili Milsa Ba'almahu. And therefore what? And therefore, when we learn out from Rosh Chodesh, that connection is a Gili Milsa. Avol Hacha. But in our Kasha, by the Seir of Yom Tiv, we can ask that Kulei Milsa, there's nothing to learn at all. Why? Because the Kapara of Yom Kippur, because the Seir of Yom Kippur is greater. Answers the Gemara, suggests the Gemara, so I'll tell you why. The Seir of Regalim is only for Tumas Mikdash Ukadashav, Ela K'dam Rav Chama Rav Chanina. Seir, says the Torah Seir and the Seir. Hachanami, so too by us, Seir. The Iskish, and we're going to have a Hekish of Seir Regalim, the Seir Chadashim. Explains the Gemara. Ma Siri Rosh Chodesh, as we just explained it on Aleph. Einon mechabar nel shein ba yediyah loy b'tchilav loy b'sayif. Afsir Regalim ein mechabar nel shein ba yediyah loy b'tchilav loy b'sayif. And the Hekish of Seir is going to be where we learn this out from. And we're at the two dots, 12 lines down. Ibaya lehu. Ask the Gemara Vayter and Shitas Rav Yehuda. Kiamar Rav Yehuda shein ba yediyah loy b'tchilav loy b'sayif. Hani mili, says the Gemara b'chait. She'ein saifa liyada. So only by a chet that you're not going to eventually know. Aval chet she'saifa liyada livada kimishi shediya b'saif tami. Maybe it should be viewed as if it is a yediya b'saif, and therefore usir nasa b'chut v'yom kippurim mechaper. And then are you going to tell me that the seir b'chut yom kippur is mechaper? I don't know. Afilu chet she'saifa livada hashtam yah chet she'enoi makir boy. El Hashem, Karinam Bey. How do you view this chait? Do you say the fact that you'll eventually know? So the Seir of Yom Kippur, the Seir Nasa B'chutz is Mechaper, or no? Lamaisa, you don't know about it. So if you don't know about it, it's a Chadlos La Hashem, and therefore the Seir of Rosh Chodesh and Regalim will be Mechaper. Tashema, says the Gemara, Detani Al Shein B'Yediyah L'B'tchiv L'B'Sayif. The Brisa articulates explicitly, is, even if it will eventually be known, then yes, the Seir of Chodesh and the Seir of Regalim is Mechaper. We're at the two dots in the middle of the Amid. We could Shitas Rav Shimon Aimer Seir Regalim Mechaperim Avaloi Seir Rosh Chadashim. Seir Rosh Chadashim is only for someone who is tahar that eats karbanos kachim that was tummy. Amar Rav Elazar Rav Oisha, my time with Rav Shimon. Where did Shita Rav Shimon come from? Amar Kra. Va'oisa nasan lachem l'seis es avoin ha'ida. And this is given to you to carry, to bear the sin of the congregation. V'haikra b'siyar d'rosh chodesh ksiv. V'yolef avoin mitzitz. Nemer kan avoin v'nemer la'alon by the tzitz avoin. Ma'alon by the tzitz tomas basar. Afkan Thomas Basar. But ask the Gemara, wait, Imala alon by the tzitz oilin Afkan oilin. If so too by the tzitz, only if it goes onto the mizbeach does it work. Maybe so too by us. Avoina ida ksiv. So says the Gemara, no. By the Seir Rosh Chodesh says avoina ida, which shows us it's not only that which is brought on the mizbeach, but even a personal aveira. But ask the Gemara Mechni, Migmar Gemiri Me'adadi. Let's learn the Seir of Rosh Chodesh and the tzitz one from another. Nechaber the Rosh Chodesh adidei va'ad tzitz. And let one work for itself and for the tzitz. And what's the nafkamina? Lech the nishvar tzitz, where there's no tzitz to be mechaber, but you should still have a kapara, very similar shayla that we started off today's shir with. Amar Kra, Avoin Avoin, Echadu Nois Avoin. Avoin echadu noisei ve'einoi noisei beis avoinos. Says the Gemara, but wait, and a chaper titzadi deva the Rosh Chodesh. Nafkamina, the opposite. L'tumah di rabbein zelazeh. Amar Kra, Isa. Whereas ve'in acheres, noise ava, nothing else will carry the avera. Rav Ashi Amar says Rav Ashi. And actually we'll stop over here as Rav Ashi is going to bring down another Mekar for the Sirah Chodesh and the Tzitz having its own kapara. Pick it up from here, B'siyata Dishmaya.